Welcome back to the channel, citizens. This is a quick recap of all the big need-to-know details found in the monthly report for August 2955. We've got a ton of new information this month, from AI improvements to new ship information, and major changes to medical gameplay coming down the pipe. Let's get into it. First up, the AI team has been hard at work making the verse feel more alive by refactoring NPC archetypes and developing new voice packs and behaviors. They also made sure upcoming environments are properly set up for large AI populations. In regards to combat, the AI features team made significant improvements. NPCs are now better at using charged weapons and will react actively to destroyed or weakened environmental features, as well as distortion damage in fights. They also implemented better communication channels between NPC groups, allowing them to coordinate their attacks more effectively on the battlefield. On the tech side, the AI tech team has made big strides in ship combat. The enemy ships will now perform more complex maneuvers instead of just statically circling you. They also improved how turrets work, making them smarter about how they target and win. The characters team is working on a new gang coming to the verse in the near future, as well as concepting some new heavy armor. This could signal some very exciting new factions and game content coming to the verse soon. Meanwhile, the ships team in the UK has 3 unannounced ships in various stages of Greybox phase. For announced ships, the Anvil Paladin, a gunship based on the Valkyrie and Asgard frame, and is receiving its final detail work. This puts it squarely on the path toward an inevitable release, likely towards the end of this year, which is huge news for the ship's fans. Work has also begun on bringing 2 of the most iconic ships up to current standards, specifically the RSI Aurora and the Aegis Hammerhead. This initial pass is focusing on their cockpit and dashboard views as well as physicalized components. This is a massive change, preparing them for the introduction of engineering gameplay. In the case of the Aurora, this is especially exciting as it might finally see its long advertised modularity begin to enter the game, which could be transformative for the base starter ship. The ship team is also finalizing the Drake brand specific asset kit that will be used across all Drake ships moving forward, and this will first be utilized in the upcoming Drake Ironclad and Drake Kraken. This is a great sign as it means that Ironclad and Kraken will likely be in active parallel development, allowing them to share assets and accelerate the production of both massive ships. However, this also means we likely won't see them until sometime next year, but the progress is good news regardless. The Miscall B also entered pre-production following its approval of its updated concept. This is a crucial step as it signifies the long-standing design challenges, such as how the ship's cargo spindle operates during planetary landings, have been resolved. Finally, the RSI Apollo Medevac and Triage medical ships were announced for release this month and are now being prepared for live gameplay. The team's focus is on testing and bug fixing, and they're also supporting the core gameplay teams with key medical gameplay adjustments, ensuring these ships are fully integrated into the Verse's new medical systems. Alongside of this, part of the team moved on to a related but unannounced ship. This could very well be the new vessel teased on the new referral program ladder, which was announced earlier this year with little further information. Meanwhile, the core gameplay team's been hard at work on Alpha 4.3, and they have also been fixing widely reported issues with unreliable medical beacons and physics exploits, but they also have some major gameplay updates in the works. The Maelstrom damage system is getting some critical updates. Destroyed parts of a ship will now directly reduce its thrust and performance. This is a huge change as it addresses long-standing exploits where players could destroy non-critical parts of a ship to reduce its mass for various advantages. This also helps designers define more clearly when a ship is considered inoperable, even if it's not fully destroyed, adding new depth to ship combat. This is a big one. Medical ships are getting new functionality, including the addition of MedGel, which will now be required to allow players to respawn. This change is designed to further differentiate the utility of various medical beds and ships and vehicles across the verse, adding new layers of resource management and tactical choices to medical gameplay. The developers are also working to finalize unique behaviors and attack moves for a new creature. This is a significant effort that goes beyond just animations, ensuring the creature feels like a living, breathing part of the ecosystem. Apparently, this is planned for release relatively soon, likely aside additional content. Progress also continued on the next phase of item recovery. The team has added the ability to disable components for ships that have been claimed by their owners. This previously mentioned bricking mechanic is being implemented currently. Looted items will now display a timer until they become bricked and unusable after the original owner reclaims that item. Players will also receive a notification once an item has been locked into this brick state. This should, in theory, help prevent exploits and make the loot economy more secure. It does seem like a bit of a blow to PvP and the relevant looting. This month also saw major progress in the crafting system. The team implemented a temporary offline version of the blueprint service, mentioned at CitizenCon last year, but more importantly, they finished the first playable prototype of crafting in a multiplayer environment. This is a huge step forward, showing the CIG is actively pushing to get this key gameplay loop in our hands sooner rather than later. And I'm personally hoping we at least get a tech preview of this relatively soon. Quantum Interdiction also saw further improvements to address reliability, especially in situations where interdiction fields appear or disappear after a quantum jump has been initiated. This is a big deal for bounty hunters and pirates, as interdicted ships will now also have markers on them to make them more obvious and easier to track. This work is a crucial step forward for bounty hunting and its gameplay loop, and hopefully points to the RSI Zeus Mark II MR coming our way sooner rather than later. And to be honest, all of this is needed. We're a bit overdue for an overhaul to the bounty hunting systems within the game. They have not changed much in years. Alongside this, the new atmospheric flight mode now supports a G limiter, and NPCs can now fly with control surfaces while in atmosphere. A big surprise in this report was the inventory rework is progressing well and looks great. They showed off an image of it, with the team implementing proximity looting, which allows players to loot from multiple nearby containers at once. The new UI has been updated with key features like filters and searches, which will make managing gear and looted items much easier. And before we wrap up, let's talk about Ship Showdown. The RSI Polaris was crowned the champion, while the Anvil Asgard, Anvil Gladiator, and Zeus Mark II ES filled out the top 4. All 4 of these ships will receive special paints to commemorate the event at the upcoming IAE Expo later this year. All players who own these ships in their RSI hangar by the end of the event will receive the paints automatically. Preparations are also well underway for CitizenCon Direct 2955, which is happening on October 11th, so that's definitely something to look forward to. We should get big news with that. And that wraps up this month's updates. It's clear the teams are working hard on some big system improvements, and with CitizenCon just around the corner, it's safe to say we're going to be getting some big news. What part of this update are you most excited about? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel, and ringing that bell so you don't miss out on the next big recap. And as always, thanks for watching.